we have 29 new cases today. We have 11 recoveries. Active cases now are 625. Suspects under hospital isolation are 21. Number of travelers in facility quarantine 38, and people under home quarantine 240. 1,686 samples were sent for testing in the past 24 hours. Tests received, the results received at 1,735.
Hi, good evening. So far 60 trains have left Goa, some mixed specials, and in them and by road and by all other means 1,34,569 people have left since 29th April 2020, and 31,214 people have come in. So far we have booked cases for spitting in public places, the number is 9,959, and for the cases booked for non-wearing of masks is 27,547. Thank you.
I would like to bring to your attention the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the writ petition number 7/2020. This order was issued by the Honorable Supreme Court yesterday, late evening. It is a very important order because it lays down some clear instructions to the state governments regarding the management of COVID patients. So I'll just run through the salient features of the judgment so that we are aware of what the Supreme Court has directed. One particular direction which is immediately relevant to us is that all states have been asked to constitute an expert team of doctors and other experts for visiting the dedicated COVID hospitals of the states. In our case, it is one COVID hospital of ESI, to visit, to see the system there, and to give recommendations to the government regarding the functioning of the dedicated COVID hospital. So this is a direction that the Supreme Court has given to all the states. Accordingly, we have also constituted a committee, an expert committee. The second point is the fact that CCTV cameras should be functional in all the COVID hospitals, dedicated COVID hospitals, and that there should be proper screening of the footage, and there should be proper storage of the footage of the CCTV cameras. The third point, which is again very relevant to us, is that the Honorable Supreme Court has mandated that all dedicated COVID hospitals shall permit one willing attendant of the patient in the hospital premise who can remain in an area earmarked by the hospital. So this means that each positive patient who is there in the COVID dedicated COVID hospital, which again in our case is the ESI hospital, will have an option of keeping one willing attendant who will stay within the premises of the hospital. It is the duty of the state government to identify this area within the hospital premises, or the closest possible to the hospital premises, and it has to be told to the attendant, willing attendant, that they are welcome to stay there. However, this is based on the willingness of the person. So we have devised an undertaking which soon will be in the public domain also. It has been proposed on the file and it is in the process of getting approved. An undertaking will be taken from such willing attendants, and they can, we have also identified space in the COVID hospital where they can stay for looking after in the sense, not in the sense of a bedside attendant, but somebody from the family, relatives, friends, anybody, any willing attendant, that's what the Honorable Supreme Court says, who can be there in the premises of the hospital. They have to naturally abide by all the stipulations and the instructions of the medical team over there.
So that he can know the health of the person.
Absolutely, that is a purpose. Then the Honorable Supreme Court has also stipulated that help desk accessible physically as well as telephonically should be there in every COVID hospital. We already have a help desk. Similarly, we already have a CCTV coverage as well in relation to the earlier point. So the help desk of COVID hospital is active right from the beginning. It will continue to remain active in compliance with the Supreme Court's orders. Now, the most important part of this order of the Honorable Supreme Court is that the Honorable Court has stipulated that every state and every union territory in the country should follow the same discharge protocol, and this discharge protocol for the cured patients will be that issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, dated 8th May 2020. Now we were so far going by the earlier guidelines of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, though we were very aware of the fact that the new guidelines have come. But our state government had taken a call that we will continue, like some other state governments, we had taken the call that we will continue with the earlier guidelines. But now it becomes binding on every state and union territory of the country to follow the uniform revised discharge policy of the Health and Family Welfare Department issued on the 8th of May. And accordingly, the Honorable Supreme Court has directed the Union of India, Ministry of Home Affairs to issue appropriate directions in exercise of their powers under the Disaster Management Act. That order of MHA is awaited, we have not yet received it. However, I would like to throw some light on what this revised discharge policy means in practical terms. What it simply means is that testing will be done before declaring a patient as cured only in the case of severe patients who were at one point severe, who had severe conditions, who were serious, and then of course naturally their conditions have become better. That is when the doctor decides to test them again to see whether they are still COVID positive or not. Only in those cases, and that too one test before discharge, before declaring that person cured, the policy says after clinical recovery and after the patient is tested negative once by RT-PCR. This is in the case of patients who were at some point severe, who were serious. In the case of all other patients, and what is extremely relevant to us is asymptomatic patients. Asymptomatic patients, mildly symptomatic patients, the Honorable Supreme Court has stipulated that the discharge policy should be in line with what the ministry proposes, which is that if for 10 consecutive days, if a person is asymptomatic, person is exhibiting no signs of COVID symptoms, then the person without any test should be declared cured and should be told to move on 7 days of home isolation, 7 days of home quarantine, you can call it. So this is what the policy of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is, dated 8th of May. And as the Supreme Court order has come now, it becomes binding on all the states and the union territories. We will of course wait till the MHA order comes, because the direction specifically is to the Ministry of Home Affairs to issue the necessary guidelines, instructions under, not the guidelines, instructions under Disaster Management Act to the states and union territories. Once that comes, we will also have to do compliance with both the MHA order as well as the Supreme Court directions. Thank you.
Any update about Chimbel? That is a containment zone.
Yes. In Chimbel, ward number?
Shirin ward.
Yes, that is right. And I think if I'm not wrong, it is ward number 7. Ward number 7 of Chimbel has been declared as the containment zone. We are continuing our testing there. We are keeping very close monitoring, not just in Chimbel, but in all our other micro-containment and containment zones. So we are closely watching the situation. Every day we are taking swabs, we are testing them. So yes, we are definitely vigilant about this particular containment zone.
Ma'am, we wanted to know a little about why some villages and some towns are being clubbed together in the health bulletin. For instance, Margaon and Beti, you give the numbers together, right? So we just needed a little clarity about why it is being done.
And also Chinchinim and
Ambeli, yeah.
That the only thing could be that the cases are related there. There is absolutely no other reason. That is the only reason why. I'm just looking. In fact, yes, you're right. Madgaon and Beti is put together, and then
Ambeli and Chinchinim.
well, in today's thing it is different, which will come to you. This is a draft that I'm looking at. So the only reason would be that they are linked. If they are not linked, I will check with my team. If they are not linked, I will definitely ask them to bifurcate it, because naturally you would need to know the exact numbers. I'll tell them that.
one question I have, these days we are having a lot of recoveries. So if a person from a containment zone is recovered and he may not have a second home anywhere else, so will government provide accommodation, or will he have to see the arrangement on his own?
Yes, before that I stand corrected. I was just checking. It is ward number 5 of Chimbel. Shire village, Shire ward of Chimbel village, part of ward number 5, that is Shire Chimbel village. And then of course even the house numbers are there in the detailed order that Collector North has issued. Yes, you are talking about the cases where somebody doesn't have the facilities. Now you see, at the time of discharge, the person can definitely confide with the doctor and tell the doctor that he or she has a practical difficulty. If this is brought to the notice of the doctor, definitely we will make arrangements for that. We are not going to tell them, no, you take care of yourself. If the person has a genuine problem, we will definitely take care of it.
And whether a recovered person can go back to his home, which may be located inside a containment zone.
Well, the discharge policy is very clear about the fact that whoever is declared cured has to be sent on a home quarantine for 7 days. Containment zone specifically, I'll have to take a look because there is a separate containment strategy. I'll take a look at the containment strategy provisions regarding returning back of cured patients.
About the CCTV, who is going to monitor those CCTV footages?
There is already a setup in ESI hospital whereby the security in charge has the access to that. In addition to that, we are already stipulating to the in charge of COVID hospital that there should be a team constituted for monitoring.
Ma'am, you mentioned that the expert committee has already been constituted.
Yes.
Has it been notified? Can you give
It
us
will be notified definitely by before Monday.
About the fund in the panel, 29,000 and you said ki 27,000 for this. So total amount
Can you repeat the
total amount for the violation of not wearing the mask and splitting.
I can 100 rupees is the fine, so you can say 27,54,700 for not wearing of mask, and if you want even the total fine collected so far for all the fines it's 74,32,400 total. For mask, I have told you 27,540,470.
Madam, that delivery which took place in COVID hospital, that baby has been sent back to the COVID hospital.
Sorry?
That lady who had delivered the baby,
Yes.
that baby had been sent back to the COVID hospital to.
The baby is with the mother.
Yeah.
And the mother is now definitely under treatment over there. Specifically, I will have to check with the doctor in charge. But yes, I was told that the baby is with the mother. The doctor had specified this to me. Now, what exact arrangement has been made? If I'm not wrong, there would be a separate secluded area where they are kept. But I'll
As per
definitely.
the SOP, it is allowed. No?
Yes, yes. Because you see that baby is a newborn baby. Initially, we had to wait till the mother becomes asymptomatic, so that is why the baby was taken directly to GMC. But it is not good for the baby to be far away from the mother, especially in this very crucial initial period. But exactly what protocol they're following, I'll have to check with the medical team and get back. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
Any updates about Mr. Kumar? Any updates about the hospitality industry, the revival of hospitality industry? About the application procedure, has that been closed?
No, I doubt that anything has been closed, but they have received a number of applications. The hotels which are willing to open, and accordingly they will finalize the SOP and then see.
Oh, it's still in process right now.
Yes, their department is considering.
Ma'am, how many samples going to be collect at Chimber?
I cannot give you a number, but as many samples as the IDSP team feels should be collected will be collected. Furthermore, the collector's team, the deputy collector, the punch, all these people are actively surveilling in that area. Whatever suggestions come from them that, okay, this particular area we need to take tests, that is a strategy where we are following, apart from what the IDSP team feels has to be done. So any particular request coming from the punch or the ward member, in all our containment zones, we have been doing that. Same will be followed for Chimber.
Any travel history of that forwarding, that patient?
I'm not specifically aware of the facts of the Podvorim case as such.
That person is 70 years old and we don't have any travel history.
I'm not aware of the specificities of that particular case of Podvorim. Thank you.
Thank you.